The house stood at the end of Elm Street, a Victorian mansion, weathered yet imposing. Its once bright paint was peeling, revealing the dark wood underneath. The wrought iron gates, rusted with age, seemed to groan a warning as you approached. The Reynolds family, blinded by the prospect of a new life, overlooked the unsettling aura. John Reynolds, a history professor, was captivated by the house's past. His wife, Mary, saw potential beneath the layers of dust and decay. Their two children, 17-year-old David and 12-year-old Emily, were just excited about the move. They stepped across the threshold, unaware of the darkness that awaited them. Sunlight struggled to penetrate the dusty windows, casting long, eerie shadows across the room. Little did they know, their new home was a vessel, a conduit to a realm beyond the veil. The first few days were consumed by unpacking. The family bustled about, their laughter echoing through the empty halls. John began researching the house's history, captivated by its former inhabitants. Mary, with her infectious optimism, planned renovations, dreaming of restoring the house to its former glory. David, a typical teenager, was more interested in exploring the small town and making new friends. Emily, however, felt a strange pull towards the house, drawn to its hidden corners and forgotten rooms. One evening, while exploring the attic, Emily stumbled upon a strange wooden box tucked away in a corner. Curiosity got the better of her, and with a trembling hand, she lifted the lid. Inside, she found old books bound in leather, their pages filled with handwritten text and disturbing illustrations. A chill ran down her spine as she realized what they were. Journals, chronicling rituals and incantations, a history of the occult. As days turned into weeks, the family's initial excitement gave way to unease. Strange occurrences began, subtle at first, easily dismissed. Footsteps echoed in the dead of night, heavy and deliberate, yet when they investigated, they found nothing. Whispers seemed to emanate from the walls, too faint to decipher, yet undeniably there. The house, once a symbol of hope and new beginnings, had become a prison. Driven by a need to understand, John delved deeper into his research. He discovered that the house had once belonged to a wealthy family, the Blackwoods, who had mysteriously vanished without a trace in the late 19th century. Local rumors whispered of dark rituals and forbidden knowledge, of a family consumed by their pursuit of power beyond the realm of the living. John uncovered court documents detailing accusations of heresy and witchcraft, of a secret society operating within the town's elite. Meanwhile, Emily continued her own investigation, drawn back to the attic like a moth to a flame. She studied the strange symbols etched into the wooden box, her fingers tracing their intricate patterns. The Blackwoods, she discovered, had been attempting to open a portal to another dimension, a realm they believed held unimaginable power. They had performed rituals, sacrificing their own blood and sanity in their pursuit of forbidden knowledge. But something had gone terribly wrong. As the family slept, Emily, drawn by an unseen force, crept down to the basement. The air hung heavy with moisture and the smell of mildew. In the far corner, half hidden by a tattered sheet, she found it, a trap door. With a deep breath, she heaved it open, revealing a set of rickety stairs. Fear warred with curiosity as Emily cautiously descended. Striking a match, she ignited the wick, casting dancing shadows on the walls. Before her lay a small chamber, its walls adorned with strange symbols. Armed with Emily's discovery, the family gathered in the living room. John, his face pale, shared the chilling information he'd uncovered about the Blackwoods and their occult practices. Mary, her eyes wide with fear, listened intently, her hand clutching Emily's protectively. David, his initial skepticism replaced by a growing sense of dread, couldn't deny the evidence any longer. They decided to hold a séance, hoping to contact the spirits trapped within the house. They gathered around an old Ouija board found in the attic, their fingers lightly resting on the planchette. The air grew thick with anticipation, the only sound their own ragged breathing.
"Is anyone there?"
Mary whispered, her voice trembling. The planchette twitched, moving slowly at first, then with increasing speed. It darted across the board, spelling out a single word: trapped. A cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing the candles and plunging them into darkness. They heard a voice, low and mournful, seemingly emanating from the walls themselves. "Help us." Fear turned to action. They couldn't stay in this house, not anymore. They had to get rid of whatever evil clung to its walls, send it back to the darkness from whence it came. John, drawing upon his knowledge of history and mythology, suggested an ancient ritual, a cleansing designed to banish malevolent entities. They gathered salt, herbs, and holy water, their hands shaking as they worked. They moved from room to room, their voices echoing in the stillness, reciting the ancient words, hoping, praying that it would be enough. But the house resisted. The air crackled with an unseen energy, the shadows seeming to writhe and contort as if alive. Objects flew across the room, smashing against the walls with bone-jarring force. The temperature fluctuated wildly, from icy cold to unbearably hot. The cleansing had failed, and now the entity was angry. That night, the entity unleashed its full fury. The house shuddered and groaned as if in the throes of a terrible earthquake. Walls cracked and buckled, furniture overturned, and windows shattered, sending shards of glass flying like deadly projectiles. John and Mary huddled together with their children, their faces pale with terror. They watched in horror as shadows danced menacingly on the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes.
"We have to get out of here,"
John shouted, his voice barely audible above the cacophony. They stumbled through the house, their way lit by flashes of lightning that illuminated the terrifying scene. Doors slammed shut before them, locking them out, trapping them in a terrifying game of cat and mouse. They could hear the entity now, its voice a guttural growl that reverberated through the house. They were trapped, at the mercy of a force that sought to consume them, body and soul. Just when all hope seemed lost, they found a window, its glass shattered, offering a means of escape. John, adrenaline coursing through his veins, helped Mary and the children climb through the opening. He followed close behind, his heart pounding in his chest, the entity's enraged screams echoing in his ears. They didn't stop running until they were far away from the house, their lungs burning, their legs aching. They collapsed on the side of the road, gasping for breath, their bodies trembling with fear and exhaustion. As they looked back, they saw the house standing silhouetted against the storm clouds, its windows glowing an eerie red. They had escaped with their lives, but the experience had left an indelible mark on their souls. The nightmare was over, but the memory of that night, the terror, the despair, would haunt them forever. Victorian Mansion still stands at the end of Elm Street, a testament to the darkness that consumed the Blackwood family and nearly claimed the Reynolds family as well. Locals whisper tales of strange lights and eerie sounds emanating from the house, of shadowy figures glimpsed through the dusty windows. No one dares to approach the house, let alone live within its walls. It stands alone, a haunted relic of a bygone era, a chilling reminder that some places are best left undisturbed. For within its walls the darkness lingers, waiting for its next victims, eager to claim new souls to fuel its insatiable hunger.